Good morning. I'd like to call the Door County Board of Supervisors meeting to order at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, November 14th. Roll call, please.
Doesn't matter. It won't recognize me. $18 present and 3 excused.
Okay, 18 present, 3 excused. Okay. Adopt the agenda. We have a motion. We have a second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Approve the following procedures for conduct of this 65.90 Wisconsin statutes hearing. Number one, all persons wishing to speak will be limited to 5 minutes. A spokesperson representing a special interest group will be allowed 10 minutes for each presentation. Any unused time will not be afforded to succeeding speakers. Persons speaking in favor of a particular item will speak first. Anyone speaking in opposition will be allocated the same time to provide their comments. The person wishing to add a comment to an original statement will be limited to 2 minutes. Time allocations and subject matter allowed is left to the sole discretion of the chairperson without recourse. Supervisors will not participate in the discussion of concerns during this public hearing. Issues that come before the Board of Supervisors later today by way of the budget, ordinance, or resolution are limited to supervisors only unless the rules of order dictate otherwise. And we will open the hearing, we will complete the hearing, and then we will adjourn. We have a motion to approve the procedures. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay. I will now open the public hearing for the budget. Ken?
Okay, we're going to follow this for those that are here and those online. We're going to follow a similar procedure that we have done in the past. Again, I'm just going to take about 10 minutes just to kind of walk through the budget. I know the county board have seen it multiple times, but this is your chance to kind of see how it all came together. And then after that point, we'll take any public comment and then we'll close the hearing at that point in time. Just for those that are following along, we're actually going to be looking at our budget document, which has been posted online. Likewise for the county board members, if you have your county board budget, you could walk along. Otherwise, I also have it shared on the screen as we kind of walk through it. Just the first item that's not on the screen though, it just be the budget memo or the financial summary. That's on pages 9. It starts there. And I'll just walk through that because it does have some of the major highlights. So again, if you look at our budget, again, we have how the budget comes together. We work off our base from last year, which is the 2023 tax levy capacity. We add on our net new construction, and then we draw off our personal property adjustment, which gives us our levy limit for 2024. Then what we do is we also add on our debt service, our bridge aid, and our EMS service, which is obviously part of the tax bill, but it's outside what's called the tax levy from the state. So if you see it, that we're looking at a allowable tax levy of $31,665,832. Okay. From that, you can kind of look at what our tax rate will be. And again, a lot of that's driven by our equalized value. So our equalized value has seen a significant jump. It went up 22.76%. Oh, Jill, you're jumping ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Up one. Up. Oh my goodness.
It's the first time you work together.
Yeah,
I don't even know where we are anymore.
this was there. Go up.
Okay.
The summary's right there. One more page.
One more. Sorry.
I'm doing the summary at the bottom of this page, but I'm actually still in the budget memo. So
Thank you.
obviously Jill and I did not practice coordination on this morning. Again, so you'll see again a huge increase, 22.76% on our equalized value. Again, our tax levy has gone up 3.18%. But the thing to, I guess, kind of point out is our tax rate per thousand is down 15.95%, which is pretty significant. Now, when you say that, I always point out two things for that. So part of that is also based off if your home got reappraised, right? So you might, if your home value didn't change, your tax rate will go down this percentage as far as the county portion of your tax. If your house got reappraised, obviously your tax rate would be up, eating up some of that percentage. But also the good news with this is that we have seen growth in the county throughout. So that's where a lot of that tax rate's helping bringing down that number a little bit for us. So that's the good news. Again, so just for reference, our tax rate goes down to 2.61 and a whole bunch of digits afterwards, which we're required to do by the state. So still just sticking with the budget memo for right now. So Joe, just relax. Yeah, for me. I'm just going to point out some other quick highlights. Obviously, I give you a summary of any major changes within the department budget. We'll cover that on this next sheet coming up, so I'm going to skip that. But under the non-department summary, I think there's some things that's important to point out. Again, one of our things that helps us significantly are investments. And you understand the interest rates have been all over the place. So Steve does a really good job with our investments and our advisor. So that we have budgeted at $1.18 million this year, coming into 2024. Likewise, the sales tax continues to be at this point in time, based off the trends, still going to be either close to a record or right at that level. So we budgeted $6.2 million for our sales tax. Again, debt service, the only debt service we have yet is the community center. That's at $786,000. The only other thing I'd like to point out is just on the last page of the budget summary. I think that's a great summary of our capital projects. Again, if you look at all of our capital projects, we have a total planned expenditure of approximately $17 million. But of that $17 million, only 4.6 is actually hitting or part of the tax levy. So again, if you recall, each year I kind of say that our sweet spots are on that $4.6 million mark, and we're right at that level. So okay, that's just the budget memo. I think it's a nice summary for those online or those that don't understand the budget. It kind of gives you a picture of our spending. Again, what's on the screen then is obviously our department comparison. For those that have not seen it before, it gives you our expenditures, and it gives you a comparison of 23 to 24 by department, and it shows you all of our expenditures within that. I can say for the most part that the budget itself was really, I would not say lean and mean, but most of the departments came in without any significant changes in their budgets. Where we're seeing some obviously changes, and you're seeing those percentage increases, are really in our wages. As you know, we're investing in our employees in a new wage plan, and that has the impact in terms of where you're seeing some of those percentage marks. On the page that you see in the screen, again, you'll see that same summary down at the bottom, where it shows you our spending overall, again, and it gives you the equalized rate and also the tax rate. So it's all on that summary by department and also for the organization as a whole. All right, so now I'm just going to jump through some other information for you. So Jill, we're going to jump to page 18 of the PDF packet. Yes.
No, it's not that, it's more than on your actual home.
It should be the budget report if you open up the budget report. So again, this report here shows you the net new construction by each community. And then again, it gives you the summary at the bottom, which is obviously for us that 1.65%. But again, this is probably, I've been here since 2015. I think this is the highest percentage we've had since 2015. So that's a nice number for us to finally see. Continuing on, if we go to page 22. This chart shows you our equalized value. And again, you can see the significant increase in 2024 once again. Again, as you can imagine, that's both a good and a bad trend. Obviously, when you're seeing the values go up that much, especially that much, we're not seeing that much new homes, in other words, new subdivisions, stuff like that. So in other words, our housing values are increasing exponentially. So, and we've experienced that, and that actually hits us in terms of the housing crisis that we're having in affordable housing. So again, but that shows you that trend of how fast that's been growing. And you can see that curve has really accelerated since about 2019. If you go to the next page, Joe. There you'll see our actual tax levy. Again, I always consider that number important. Again, you'll see our total expenditures will fluctuate significantly. A lot of that depends on money we set aside and when capital projects hits, but also when we receive federal funding. So again, our total expenditures can vary more, but our tax levy, in other words, what are we doing each year in terms of taxing our residents, should be somewhat consistent, and you're seeing that. So again, you'll see in this case, at least the past 3 years, we've been pretty stable just in terms of the tax levy portion itself. Next page, Joe. Again, shows you our tax rate. And again, you can see that same now curve actually decreasing, similar to our equalized value. So in other words, you're seeing that tax rate go down again, because of that equalized value and also having net new construction numbers. Those both play into that. Okay. One question that's always asked is, where do we spend money? So again, this is what we use with the tax levy dollars, and that breaks us down into our major areas. Obviously, you can see in that chart, public safety is our #1 area. 26. There you go. We need to amend the budget to put some training dollars in for. Yeah. So again, this is showing our budget tax levy by functionality, shows you our major areas. Again, public safety, health and human services are our largest areas. Again, you can just kind of see that breakdown each by section. Going on then to the next section, it shows you our budgeted revenues also. And again, you can see the revenues that are coming in by each of those major classes as well. Continuing on, then we have the expenses. Again, showing that same flow in terms of where our major expenses are for each of those. Then those that are interested in terms of what our capital projects are, again, I gave you a summary of a single year in the budget memo. But then again, starting on page 79, it does include our KIP projects and with a little bit more description of what's going on in terms of our capital projects. And again, this was adopted and reviewed by the county board, and we did not make any changes once this was adopted as part of the plan. If you go then to page 84, Jill.
All right.
You're on, all right, thank you. This is a question that usually comes up. Obviously, as an organization, we're very driven by our employees and the services we provide. So this gives you a summary of our wages, both for 23 and 24. And again, if you look at the total expenditures for our wages, we're about 37.7% of our entire expenditures are based off our employees. Then on another page 86, this is showing you our sales tax collection. I guess what I'd point out is really the trend that we're seeing and how significantly it's grown over the past 5 years, actually probably about 6 years. Again, we average around that $2 million mark, almost $3 million mark, all the way up through like 2015, and then since then it's been growing pretty drastically. And again, if you recall, we're budgeting $6.2 million this year for sales tax collection. Likewise, the one thing that I'd also like to point out is our sales tax applied to the levy. So again, if we under budget the sales tax, we have to apply that the following year. And you'll see the last 2 years at 23 and 24, we've had a significant amount that we applied back into the budget. This year, we're trying to take care of that by not having that large amount of dollars actually having to be carried forward. So again, in my mind, I'd like to see this as a trend to go back down to where we're not carrying so much money over. So, and again, I think that's from our standpoint and working with the finance committee, the sales tax growth has gone so fast. I guess we were just concerned about trying to overextend ourselves. So that's one of the things that we're trying to be cautious with. But we're trying to address that and find that sweet spot as far as our balance. So with that, I will end the presentation on the budget. And Jill and I will switch, and I'll just see if there's any comments online. So 1 second. Okay, so for those that are online, we're still under the public, oops. For those that are online, we are still under the public hearing for the budget. So if you'd like to speak on the budget itself, again, specifically related to the budget, please raise your hand and we will give you the floor. I will ask you for 2 more times. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on the budget? And for the final time, is there anyone who'd like to speak on the budget?
Come up.
Oh, sorry. Likewise, is there anyone, sorry, is there anyone in the audience? I'm sorry, I'm so used to being online. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on the budget? Yes, sir. If you could come up to the podium. If you give your name and address, please, and your comment.
Bob Ryan, 145 Clareland Road, Claybanks. I just had a question, Ken, about the administrative expense in this budget. What was the reason for such a big drop on that side?
Okay, as part of the hearing, we can take comments, but I can answer that once we get further back into the agenda.
Okay.
So do you have any other questions or
No,
comments?
that's the only one.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the room would like to speak? Okay, thank you.
Okay, we will declare the hearing has been completed. And a motion to adjourn would be in order. A motion and second, all in favor? Aye. The budget hearing is adjourned.
Can we get the right sheets?
Okay, next. Are you all set? I'd like to call the Door County Board of Supervisors meeting to order on Tuesday, November 14th. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I already did. They're all,
Yeah.
they're all
Or we did roll call.
18.
Right. Read the land acknowledgement statement. Land acknowledgement statement. Door County, along with the lands our facilities and parks are located on, are the ancestral homelands of the Menominee Nation. Currently, there are 11 federally recognized Native American sovereign nations in Wisconsin. We acknowledge these indigenous communities who have stewarded this land throughout the generations and pay respect to their elders, past and present. Presentation of the agenda. I have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. We are now going to a recess to do the annual Door County Fair meeting. If you haven't been through these budget hearings, it's confusing, I know, but bear with us.
Okay, we'll call the annual meeting of the Door County Fair to order. We do have a quorum present. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So, I'll second it.
Motion was made, second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 4, approval of the 2022 minutes should be attached in your packets.
So move.
Motion was made and second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Presentation of annual reports. Okay, so in your packets, you should have had our budget and our financial report from last year's fair. We did show a profit in last year's fair. That is a little deceptive with some of the rain events that we had. Some of our events got canceled that we did not have to pay for, luckily enough in the contracts. So I guess everything there is in order of what was anticipated as of budget of last year's times. Does anybody have any questions on that financial statement? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the financial statement and again, the associated budget that's with it for next year's fair. Motion was made and second to approve the financial report and the associated budget for the 2024 fair. All in favor, say aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Premium list report. That again is also in your packet. You'll notice that our entries were up roughly 500 entries overall, which is a good thing, and a total of around 64 exhibitors more than we'd had the previous year. Does anybody have any questions on the premium list report? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion was made in second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Oral comments of the 2023 fair. Again, I guess kind of gave you a snapshot a little bit in the financial section. We did have a great attended fair last year, even though we had some rain events. Our attendance was actually more than what our 150th fair anniversary fair was. But that was a little bit deceptive as well, as we have a great partner in our community of Hatco that brings their company picnic to our fair every few years. This was their year to be there. So that attendance was up based on that. But again, we had a fairly solid attendance on our fair. A couple rain events again that dampened some of the activities, but overall, the fair was a great success. Does anybody have any comments or anything on the 2023 fair? Okay, hearing that none, we'll move right on to the fair dates for 2024 is August 14th to the 18th. Item 7 is approve the amended bylaws. Last year, you noticed we did some cleanup work. This year we had to amend it. We basically changed the name from our past fair secretary to Hillary, our new fair secretary, so that we're up current to date on those amendments. So I'll need approval, motion to approve those amendments. Motion was made and second to approve those amendments to the bylaws. All in favor, say aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Then we'll move into nominations for officers. You'll see our proposed slate. Is there any other nominations on the floor? Not, I'll need. Okay, motion was made to close nominations and to cast a unanimous vote. All in favor, say aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Any other questions and answers that I can give you? Yep, go ahead, Doc.
I just like to, forward my appreciation for what you and your entire board and then your family's deeply involved in fair. It has been for years. I know you got a lot of people that work with you and you put your heart and soul into this. And I hope you feel the appreciation for this board and the community for what you do, because it is certainly a keystone event for our county and know that what you do does not go unnoticed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment? Yep.
Attendance wise, just kind of making comparison to like before COVID, we kind of, COVID obviously caused some issues, but just curious, like, are we kind of ready?
Yeah, we've trended up here over the last few years. So, I have a few years of history. So 2020, well, I guess I don't have far enough back, but probably pre-COVID, we were in that 16 to 18,000 and we're pushing the 20,000 mark now. So, yeah, I would say we're holding pretty consistent since COVID. Any other comments? Right.
I'd just like to make a comment to the board is that your board did a great job of getting the acts from 2023. And even before the fair was over, your president already signed a contract with a carnival for 2024. And now, right now, you have locked in most of the entertainment already for the grandstand already for 2024. So they're working year round on this project. It's not just a 2 week ahead of time. So they're working very hard on this and I'm grateful for what they're doing. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Kent?
Yeah, thanks. I've got one question on the slate of proposed officers. You've got that one open spot. Do we need to give you any permission to fill that at your,
I don't think we do, unless Ken has an answer to that, but we've normally we keep that open as that way if we get a volunteer. There's not a big line, but if somebody wants to be joined, they're more than welcome.
all right, thanks.
Any other comments? If not, we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion is made and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 14 to 9.
Bear with me for 1 second. All right, we're now going to reconvene as the Door County Board of Supervisors. We're going to move down to, there is no correspondence in the packet today. We're going to move to public comment.
Okay, so we'll start in the room. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the board? Anyone in this room who'd like to address the board? Seeing none, I'll go then to those online. If there's anyone online who'd like to speak to the county board, please raise your hand and I can give you the floor. You have 3 minutes to address the board. I can ask 2 more times if there's anyone who'd like to speak. For the final time, is there anyone who'd like to speak? With that, we can proceed.
Thank you. Item 10, approval of the minutes of the October 24, 2023 county board meeting. A motion and a second. Any changes, deletions, additions, remarks, other grammatical errors? If not, by voice vote, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. County Administrator report on 2023 accomplishments.
Sure, I included that in your packet. I think this is we added this last year and I found it very impressive. It's not a full summary or, their annual report for the department. We usually try to do that in the first quarter of next year in terms of their total activity as far as their annual reports. But what I asked them to do is to put down their major accomplishments up to about 2 weeks ago. And if you go through that list by department, I think it shows how much we've done as a county in all of our areas. And I just wanted to reflect and thank the department heads and all the employees for their effort and their work. But I think it's really impressive to see what's done. And it actually puts a little bit of a picture of why the budget's so important and what we're trying to accomplish as a county. So instead of my regular monthly report, I always try to include this, just so you can get a vision of what's being done across all of our departments.
Questions for Ken? Okay, next item. Hopefully I get this correct. We're gonna adjourn as the county board and convene in our annual budget session. So we are now temporarily adjourned for our county board, and I am convening the budget session. Ken.
Sure. So I'm gonna have Steve come up as well, just in case there are any questions.
Morning, Steve.
Morning.
So I did present on the budget, so I don't have anything further to add. I will just address the one question that was brought up just during the hearing in terms of the administrative expenses. Again, that one is a reflection of actually two items. One is where there was some decrease in terms of our spending, but the main change is really the increase projection in our sales tax, and also the increase in what we're doing in our interest that we're gathering on our investments. So it looks like a significant shift, which is about $2 million, but that's a small portion of our budget, so the percentage change looks large. But that accounts for why you're seeing that change there. So, but with that, I guess I'll put it to the floor if there's any questions or comments on the budget.
None? Okay.
Here we go. Sure.
I think obviously there's a lot of money that obviously we ask our taxpayers for to run this county. But I think what's important is the slide that you put up over the last 4 or 5 years, how we've consistently stayed pretty much in that high upper 20s to low 30s. You know, as county board members and as community citizens, we do hear the complaint and the roar, obviously from the citizenship, where, you know, tax bills have gone up last year and they are going to go up again this year. And you always hear the complaint, well, sure, the levy drops, but the evaluation went up. But I think what us as supervisors have to, you know, certainly be cognizant of is where that total dollars is landing in that 30-some million dollars. I think holding that for the last 5 years is an important KPI that, you know, we can, you know, hang our hats on it, and kudos to the staff for having held that. Even, you know, obviously there's some good things that happened this year in regard to what was done for our employees, which was well deserved, and still being able to hold that is important, because I think there's going to be quite a growling going on here in the month of December when tax bills actually do go out, and the portion that this county is responsible has held the line fairly well, in my opinion.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we will adjourn as the county board and reconvene into I'm sorry, we're going to adjourn the annual budget session and reconvene into the county board. There we go. All right, so we're now back as a county board. Pending business, first resolution to be 2023-74, the 2024 budget and tax levy. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, any questions? Okay, we will go to the voter board. That's passed by majority vote of 18 yes, 3 absent. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I just would like to, one, recognize the department heads for all their effort on the budget. They all worked very hard, but the individual to my left, Steve, I also would like to recognize him. He's put a tremendous amount of work, if you can imagine. If you go through the whole process, starting very early in the year for our vehicle replacement to our capital improvement plan, all the way up to building this budget. Obviously, he's a critical part of our organization, and I just want to recognize him and all his work that he put into this. So thank you, Steve, for that. And I also thank you, the county board, for all your work through the retreat and all your committee meetings to make this all come together. It's not a one-person document. It's truly a document that we all worked on together. So I appreciate the support and effort by everyone.
Thank you. Okay, resolution 2023-75, acceptance of donations of Door County Facilities and Parks Department LaSalle Pavilion Project. Roy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to approve resolution number 2023-75, acceptance of the donation to the Door County Facilities and Parks Department for the LaSalle Pavilion project.
Have a motion and a second. Wayne?
Oh, do I vote on it first or?
Well, just give an explanation.
Yeah.
Sure, so it's not all in the packet, but this actually started in 2019, I believe. I put it in the CIP and we had approved it. We went through a planning process and came back with a very expensive project that we didn't really need. So we kind of put it on hold. COVID came through, as you know. We had a couple different park managers. And then we picked it up again this year and said, I told Tim, this is something I want to get done. Right, let's get this done for LaSalle and get it off the books out of our CIP. The Friends Group had already committed the funds to it for half of the project. So we pushed it through and got a great pavilion now down at Lower LaSalle Park. So, you know, in some terms, technically, we didn't really need this resolution because it was all passed and approved back in 2019, but I thought it's pretty important to bring it back, you know, with the exception formally of the resolution again and the funds, because it's a whole new county board, new people, and then we kind of have a new process since then, since 5 years ago. So we brought it back, you know, to get it formally recognized and accepted. So we have some people here after you vote to accept it. We're actually going to do a check presentation for that pavilion on 50% of that cost.
Well,
Questions?
let's get this accepted.
I know, I said the pressure. Go.
Hopefully 17 others will say yes.
Hopefully.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We're ready to go to the voter board. That's passed by a majority of 18 yes, 3 absent. Okay. Thank you.
Gentlemen, come up, please.
That's
That's a county board chair. function.
But I had to put it-
Dave, can we have you as well, I think, and maybe we'll just get in front.
Okay.
So I'm standing behind things. Fearless leader. I don't know, does it go to you?
Or the administrator. Who's ever gonna take it to the bank?
You got a wide enough shot.
We can trust you.
Tim, can we get you on the other side of Bob? You get it. Awesome.
Okay, I'm Bob Ryan.
Yeah, you're fine, yeah, you're good.
I'm president of the Friends of the Door County Parks, and we're happy to provide $36,025.79 towards the about half the payment for the pavilion at Lower LaSalle. The Friends Group has been very grateful for a lot of the funds we've been able to collect over the years. Primary sources have been the triathlon and the fall 50s that both went out of Murphy Park. We have a volunteer group that mans a couple of the stations there to help out. And we also are looking for limpers. So we meet the first Tuesday, 10 months out of the year. And, if anyone's interested in just come and check out the meeting if you like. We meet at 6:30 in this room here. And we'll be happy to have additional members. Thanks for your time.
I'm never gonna look at this then.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
It's a beautiful pavilion.
Thank you all, I appreciate it.
That's a mistake.
Get the money.
White.
Okay, resolution 2023-76, the 2024 WLIP grants and aid to local governments application. David?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to to pass resolution 2023-76, 2024 WLIP grants and aid to local government application. If there's, this is an annual application to the state through the LAO system. If you need anything, have any questions, Mariah Good, the department head, is in the back. Wow, that is loud.
Any questions on this? All right, we'll go to the voter board. That's passed by majority vote 18 yes, 3 absent. Thank you. Resolution 2023-77, approval of the agreement with Bay Electronics Public Safety Radio System. Dave?
23-77, the approval of agreement with Bay Electronics for the public safety radio system. I think the resolution is pretty explanatory, but it is a 5-year agreement with for the radio maintenance and needs to come to county board for approval.
Jason, you want to say anything?
The next three are all gonna be related to the public safety type stuff, so. Baycom does the 911, Bay Electronics does the radios, and Northland does the recording of those systems. So they're all an integral part of our public safety communications array, and we'll continue to use those vendors because they do a great job.
Any questions? Excuse me. Okay, we'll go to the voter board. Passed by majority vote, 18 yes, 3 absent. Thank you. Resolution 2023-78, approval of the agreement with Baycom for E911 software. Dave?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-78, the approval of agreement with Baycom for the E911 software. And that also then is a 4-year agreement, which needs to come to county board for final approval.
Okay, thank you. Jason, anything to add?
Oh, same as before.
Okay, any questions? We'll go to the voter board. Passed on a majority vote of 18 yes, 3 absent. Resolution 2023-79, approval of the agreement with Northland Business for recording software. Dave?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-79, the approval of agreement with Northland Business for the RevCord software. And that is a recommended 5-year agreement and needs approval at the county board.
Okay, anything to add? Okay. Any comments, any questions? None. We'll go to the voter board. That's passed by a majority vote of 18 yes, 3 absent. Thank you. Thanks, Jason. Resolution 2023-80, supervisor compensation and reimbursement. Dave?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-80, supervisor compensation and reimbursement. There are no changes recommended in any of the areas of compensation.
Okay. Any questions? Nissa?
The only question I have is when we did this, when we first decided to do this, my one question would be, would it streamline it for the employee who has to go through it? Would it make someone's job easier? I assume it did. Because that was my one thing. I'm like, if it makes someone else's job easier, we should totally do it then. Okay.
Yep. I think that's a rousing yes that everybody got.
All right, good.
Anybody else? Okay. Since there's no money involved in that,
Well, there is kind of money.
what kind of it? It's not. Okay, we'll go to the voter board. That's fine. You got it all queued up. We're good. That's passed by a majority vote of 17 yes, 1 no, and 3 absent. Thank you. Resolution 2023-81, authorize the purchase of equipment, Highway and Airport Department. Roy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to approve resolution number 2023-81, authorize the purchase of equipment, Highway and Airport Department. As it's on page 48, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Any questions? None. Okay, go to the voter board. That's passed on a majority vote, 18 yes, 0 no, and 3 absent. All right, we finished resolution. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody before we go to the annual meeting again, the twice annual meeting that's only held annually. Just want to say thank you. Everybody's worked very hard. Obviously, all of our employees, all of the department heads, you as committee members have worked very hard for the last several months to work through all of this for the budget stuff. It's always a big deal to get this done. It always amazes me that we have this meeting and very few people say anything, but I always fall back on, we've had many committee meetings, we've had many public hearings on this, we've had all kinds of input from the public as we go through this. And I just want to say thank you, give everybody yourself a pat on the back for another job well done for this year on the budget for next year, 2024, and thank you. Okay, now we're going to move into our annual meeting under Wisconsin statutes 59.11 sub 1. The admin committee did not recommend any changes to anything as far as the rules of order governance of the County Board of Supervisors, or the power and duties of the board subunits. If anybody would like to bring anything up or put it on the floor, now would be the time to do it if you want to see any changes. The next organizational meeting will be in April after the election, which is a scant 6 months away. Yeah. Bob, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a question, page 68, where we talk about where it lists the WCA ambassador program. Just remind me, I know for a few years we had 3 ambassadors, and just looking at the list here, it's listed as 1 member. And I thought we had settled on 2. I don't remember. And I guess I guess you could argue like, well, how many people, need to be that or have that ambassador role? I think, I think in terms of a person driving to Madison, it sure would be nice to have 2 of us, there's a lot of shared, a lot of information sharing. And I just think I don't know. I thought we were at 2 members, and I would advocate that we should allow more than 1 person to participate in that, which I guess we can, because we have our limit or our budgeted amount of expense, right? So anybody could really go, even if they weren't officially the WCA person, right? But anyway, I don't know if you can remind me, either of you guys. I thought we were at 2, but
I don't remember that.
Yeah, actually, Bob, we are at 2. And the other thing that we're checking into, the ambassador program through WCA was different this year. The way they were trying to work on the governor's budget, they were much more targeted in terms of having like respective committees, like Health and Human Services, that type of thing. So it kind of changed.
Right.
So that's one thing. Between now and April, I'll be working with WCA to see if they're either going to modify that program or how they want us to be engaged, as the county. So I'll work on that. But as of right now, we actually have 2 people that are appointed.
Yeah.
That's probably one thing we should discuss in April, if they're going to change that approach or how they're going to handle that. So,
right. I mean, it's listed as 1 member, so I don't know page 68, it's 1 member.
I believe what we did is when we adopted the change with the 2, so we probably should update it so it reflects what's there.
So if I don't know if that has to be official, or I would motion to amend that to 2 if that needs to happen. I don't know. And I appreciate you working with WCA. I know, like you said, they got real specific to the what they're working on. And I realize that if you're sort of like the ambassador at large, you might not be on that committee to know enough about those things. But I know in the past, it was just a matter of having conversations with those people on that committee, or having that, talking to that committee chair or whatever. I remember kind of, you do your best to cross train as best we can, but I hope we can stay active with that, because I think it's important.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Dave, Anago?
Yeah,
I didn't feel that we actually answered Bob's question, so we supposedly have 2.
I'm looking for the page that it's on. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so the last page says 1.
It's 68, it's left.
Page 68.
Second one.
Yes, correct. Right now it says one member, that should say two.
So by my definition of understanding of ordinance, of regulations and that stuff, then somebody should make an amendment to change it from 1 to 2.
That is correct. Yeah, I was gonna follow back. I was just trying to
Okay.
find it. And Bob had said, should we amend that? I'd say yes. So you could make that motion.
Motion to amend that two members.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
One second. One.
And Dave second. Here we go. Okay, we have a motion and a second to change it from 1 to 2 for the WCA ambassador.
Notwithstanding the motion on the floor,
Just want to clarify, the administrator, so it says 1, we currently have 2, does it just happen that, the fact the county board just happens to have 2? Okay, so we stay with 1 then, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So the motion on the floor is to amend the number of WCA ambassador members from 1 to 2, as shown in our rules of order. There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Okay. Anything else? Go ahead, Bob.
Mr. Chair, I'm just curious, could we get an update, or do we know where things are at with the sister city? Is there an update on like our, I guess, any activity or any plans for sister city? I don't know where we're at with that.
Is Mariah here?
Right, that's what upstairs.
Oh, Mariah would be the one with the information potentially.
Okay.
I know the last conversation I had with Grant and we had with our compatriots in China was they were waiting to get through the whole issue with the COVID and the international upheaval over it all.
Right.
That was late last year, and we have not had any contact with them since. So.
I hope we do.
Yeah, so do.
I guess again, another good program, sort of, not central to what we do, but an important thing that I think it's been a great thing for this county to be participating in, and I hope we can move that forward and have another opportunity to meet with them again. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. No new ordinances, new business, any oral committee reports? Oh, Hugh, sorry.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to make a couple brief comments on what's going on with broadband. Last week, we had the broadband summit in Sturgeon Bay. We had about 40 in-person attendees and I think another 20 or so that were on the online Zoom presentation. And we focused on prepping the communities that are going to maybe participate in the BEAD broadband funding. Also last Tuesday, the U.S. Treasury Capital Projects Fund, which is administered through the Public Service Commission, closed last week. There were 11 applications that involved Door County municipalities, totaling over $14 million in asks, and represented about 7,600 locations. Which is about 32% of the county's broadband serviceable locations. So great reach. And just to show the competition, there was over $221 million worth of ask covering 124 applications. And that fund has $42 million. So you can see how very competitive it is. And I want to thank the stakeholders, the broadband committee members and the municipalities for their efforts. And this also reflects the great leadership we have with Jessica Hatch as our broadband coordinator, coordinating all these activities with our municipalities. So congrats to all the municipalities getting their applications in, and good luck.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Minutes.
Just a point of order, maybe I missed it. We voted to accept the changes to the committee positively, but do we actually approve the powers and duties of the county board? did we just approve the amendment?
We just approved the amendment.
Okay, that's all you need to do? Okay, sorry.
Any other oral committee reports? Review committee minutes. Vouchers, claims and bills. Announcements, next county board meeting said to be determined. The 26th would be the normal next meeting. So if we move it back, it'd be the 19th. If you want to have it on the 19th, or if you don't want to have a meeting in December, if you don't feel there's one necessary, we could do that also. Otherwise, I would put it down for the 19th.
Theoretically, have to move admin.
Right.
As of right now, I would say that we could postpone the meeting, but I guess I need to work with, I'll meet with the department heads and see if there's anything that's pending in terms of the year end. So I guess I'd prefer that we actually just schedule it, get it on your calendar, and then if we cancel it, we'll notify you that. It's easier to get it on your calendar now than it is to call it all back up.
10 o'clock.
So it'll be 10 o'clock on the 19th.
Special rules.
Dave?
Excuse me, immediately following this meeting or at 11:30, we're supposed to have a finance meeting. So is it okay to have it immediately after, or do we have to wait till 11:30?
It's agenda there.
You have to wait till 11:30 for the agenda for 11:30.
Okay, that's what I was assuming.
We'll go have coffee.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
For the 19th. Are we gonna need an admin if we don't have,
Yeah, we need that.
Okay.
We will work on scheduling admin. I'll work with Lori to pull you and we'll get that meeting scheduled.
Yeah, it might be the 12th.
Yeah, public safety at 10 o'clock on the floor.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Be in touch. Go ahead, Jill.
Okay, a couple other things. You should have gotten an email yesterday about the WCA Legislative Exchange. That is February 6th and 7th at the concourse. If you are going to attend, you need to let me know so I can book rooms. And it's a fast turnaround, so by the end of this week would be appreciated because we're going into, or soon, I guess. We have a little time, but just a heads up, let me know as soon as possible. And then, obviously, December 1st is approaching, so that means time to either take out papers and circulate to run for next April's election or to sign a non-candidacy. And you can come and see me for the paperwork and we'll get you all set up one way or another. And then lastly, we got these beautiful calendars. If you'd like one, please see me after the meeting. Yeah, non-candidacy is the 3rd week of December. No later than.
No later. Bob, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
I
comment.
didn't say
From Wisconsin Counties Association.
I didn't get that either. I don't have an email from.
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
It came Monday, at 8:08 a.m.
Monday?
Yeah, specifically state Wisconsin County Association and the
Little subject line.
Yeah, it says registered today, and then the email right below at 5 a.m. mentions the WCA County Leadership Meeting.
Well, we could forward it out.
We're special.
I'll
feel
forward mine out.
I guess we haven't been invited, Bob.
I mean, don't take it personal, like you probably should.
Mr. Chair, I do have one of those.
Good.
Just one other last announcement. We are issuing, this was budgeted, it went through admin committee, but we are issuing, just so you're aware, our employee incentive, that's going to be going out this week. We're providing our employees the incentive, and we're also, as part of the incentive, we're also providing them the traditional turkey ham or fruit basket. So I just want you to know that. You might have some employees approach you because Obviously, you guys have endorsed that and they very appreciate that very much, but I just wanted to let you know that that's being issued this week. And they'll actually see the incentive on their December 1st payroll check. So I just wanted to announce that for you.
Nice, thank you. Okay, no other business to conduct. A motion to adjourn would be in order. A motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everyone.